Hello. Thank you again for tuning in to Amina's Moment. This week I am just elated and just really excited about tonight's topic, and I'm so excited as well as my husband, but we are both excited about the opportunities that God has allowed us to have thus far and the various meetings that are taking place via telephone conference, in person. We're just excited about where we're going and where DNA Generation is going, and so we ask that you would just continue to pray for us, that we'll do those things that God would have us to do. And so, as always, I am not here to give you advice, but I would like to give you some nuggets of information that you can take those ingredients and you make your own recipe for success. Because, as I always say, what works for me will not always work for you, and that's okay because we're different. And we should be celebrated just like that. And so I want you to be encouraged, and I hope that this video helps someone. And if you know that if there's someone else that may be able to be helped by these videos, go ahead and pass it on, because I tell you today I found out that someone had passed on the videos in a way that I was not expecting. But even in that brought about a lot of excitement. So let's get started with tonight's video. Okay, the title of tonight's video is Dealing with One Parent in the Home. And I have a few questions I want to ask you before I really get into the meat of everything. Does having one parent mean that your life should be limited, stressed, or undervalued? Does it mean that you are going to fail? Does it mean that you will not be successful? Does it mean that you will just be like the parent that was not there? Or does it mean just the opposite of every question that has been asked? And I want you to think about that, because the reality is there are various types of homes out there. You have homes that they may have one parent, so you may have mom, or you may just have dad, or you may not even be with your biological parents, and you may live with a foster family or adopted family, or you may have guardians, those individuals in your family that may have taken you in due to other circumstances that you had no control over. And so one of the things that I want you to think about is, because you are a special individual, everything about you is going to be unique. It's not going to be the same for everybody. Every experience that you have, it's not going to be the same as everyone else's. And so you should not look at that as a negative thing. That should be something that is very positive and dear to you. So as always, I would like to share something that is a personal story for me. And one of the things, of course, if you've been following the videos, you know that my parents were not married when I was growing up. I believe they got divorced when I was about 2.5 years old. So I don't even remember having both of my parents in the house. But at the same time, although my dad was involved in my life, I didn't see him every day. So my interaction with him was different than with my mom. That's just the reality, and that's the way life can sometimes be. But I want you to think about the fact that where you are in life, again, don't let that be dependent on where you're going. If you are in a situation that you feel as though maybe you don't have the support that you want or the support that you feel that you need, that doesn't mean that you need to stop in your tracks and not progress, not be successful, not advance in life. You should actually be the one individual on the face of this earth that will go harder, that will move faster, that wants to work more and accomplish more. And so I want to encourage you, regardless of your family status and who you live with or who has not been in your life, you can definitely be someone great. As always, I have some notes here. I'm not going to say a lot this time, but I do have some notes, and I want to make sure I touch on quite a few of these points. I wanted to let you know one of the things that my parents told me. They wanted me to accomplish more than they did. They wanted me to be better than they were. And it's not that they weren't good people. That's far from the truth. They were wonderful people, and my mom, she still is, but they wanted more for me than they had. And I believe that every generation should get better and better. And unfortunately today we see so many negative things out there that sometimes you wonder, is every generation getting better and better, or are they sliding back and doing something worse than the one before them? So I say that to say this: I have a hard time because my parents wanted me to do more, and I know that I have that instilled in me, but I have a hard time listening to young people or young adults or even old adults too, if for that matter, say that they didn't accomplish something or they ended up this way because their parent was not there in the home. Now, I'm going to read a couple quotes that I put down, and I'm not saying that I necessarily heard someone say this in these words, but I have heard people in general say things like this. I would have done this or that if my mom and dad were in my life. Or, I am messed up and I am making bad decisions because my parents weren't there. And my reason for having a hard time with those statements, or even those that are similar, is because I want to ask that person, what do you want for you? That's not based on anybody else. What do you want for your life, for your future? And again, what you want for your life can't be based on what somebody did or didn't do years ago. It has to be based on your desire to make something happen or to make something a reality that may be just a dream for you right now. And I will say this, whoever is in your life as a parent, they're supposed to be there at this time. And I understand that situations may happen where you don't understand what's going on. You may not like it, but that's okay. Again, whoever is supposed to be there, they're there in your life at that point. And as children, as young people, young adults, even for myself, anybody that chooses not to be in my life, it's not my loss, it's their loss. And so you have to look at that the same way, that you're not necessarily missing out on great opportunities and your life just has to stop because somebody wasn't there. It doesn't have to stop. It really doesn't. Your life, you know, at some point you have to think about, okay, I know that this person may not be there. I know I may not have the support that I really desire, but what am I going to do to make sure that my life doesn't end up the way theirs did? We have to want more for ourselves, and we have to want to be better than those that came before us. And so this is something I could talk about all day, because I really believe that when we put our minds to something, we can do anything that we want to do. And I knew for me, I didn't want to just stop at just having the average. Aamina is not an average person, and neither are you. We are all unique, and when I look in the mirror, do I think that I'm a special person? Absolutely. Am I being conceited? Absolutely not. My dad told me, don't be conceited. He said, be convinced of who you are, and that's important. So we gotta keep going here. Individuals who use excuses for not being successful, or who say that others are causing them to be the way they are taking the easy way out. They're choosing not to take that working hard and pressing beyond and moving faster and staying up late studying and putting all that you have into your educational status right now and what you're working on to achieve. All of those things, don't take the easy way out. It's going to take some work, but you can do it. That is the main ingredient tonight that I want you to take it and you make your recipe for success. Whatever you have been dealt with in life, whatever those cards are, whatever, you know, God has allowed to happen to you, make something great out of it. I have a feeling I'm not going to finish this. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I really, really want to say this. Don't allow someone to have power over you when it comes to someone being there or not. Don't do that. You take control of that. You make that happen. And just because, and I have a couple examples here, just because your dad possibly was an alcoholic, that doesn't mean you have to be an alcoholic. Just because your mom had children or even just one child as a teenager, that doesn't mean that you have to be a teenage mom. It doesn't mean that. Actually, you should take that and say, I want to be better. I want to do more. I really, really do. And so I have some more things that I want to say, and I have a feeling that we're going to have to stop in a moment because I really want to get back to this, so I'm going to have to do a part 2 on this one. But one of the things that I want you to take out of this again is that you have to work harder regardless of the situation that you're in. Regardless if one parent is there or if both parents are not there. You have to make sure that what you do every day, that you can look back and say, you know what, I am proud of myself. I am glad I made that decision, that I didn't allow someone else's mishap to mess up my life. It is all about you when it comes to your decisions. It's not about saying, well, so-and-so didn't do this, and if they would have asked about my homework, I would have done more of it. It all rests on you. You got to take responsibility for who you are and what you do. And until next time, I want to encourage you to, and I want you to remember, you are special, you are unique, and you can be successful in anything you put your mind to. Have a great week, and I want to see you next week because we're going to finish this topic up. You have a great one. I'll see you next time on Amina's Moment.